سلام علیکم. جور تعداد تکرار بخیر، خدا کنه جور باشین، صحتمند باشین، همگیتون خوب باشین، سر حال باشین. ببینیم که چی میشه. سوال ما آنلاین آمده. Let's see what's gonna happen. Today we have a personal friend of mine, this guest, MD Dr. Saib Ali Karim, medical doctor from Virginia actually, and a filmmaker, a philanthropist, podcaster, a jack of all trades, a man of the world, Mr. International himself. Traveled to 76 countries, for God's sake. 76 countries, man. And he's seen the world. So he's been doing a lot of NGO work. Assalamu alaikum, Tanya Jana Aziz. How are you? Hope you're well. How's your thing going on? Your jewelry exhibition. I hope it's going well. It's all the way in Nepal. I'm not sure how many Afghans are there, but I wish you luck, man. You've done a great, awesome job. It's awesome. That's really good. So yeah, Ali John Karim, we'll just wait for him. Farishta Jana Tayyib. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. Thank you very much. You guys are always supporting. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we'll just wait for our friend. I know he's a busy person, obviously. Oh, great to hear that. Well, I wish you luck. I hope you do well. But hopefully he remembers that we're going live today. Thank you, Farishta Aziz. Thank you very much. And really, thank you for the awesome job that you are doing for our people back in US, at least. Thank you very much. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. خدا اجرش برای همگیتان نصیب کنه به شما، به آل اولاد و فامیل و به همگی. مردم بیچاره هستیم، غریب هستیم. If we don't look after each other, who will? You know, this is sort of a chaos which gets created by certain people in the group only to make more benefits and, let's just say, money for themselves. So only people like yourself, and of course I know about Samia John and Khanam Zainab. Well, at least these are the people that I know by name who are doing a lot of great stuff just for the sake of Khudawand Ta'ala. So yeah, thank you very much. And it's actually a good startup point for our today's session, that human nature and the human world and the whole human race. What is the core belief, and what are we trying to do? What is the end meaning of all this? You might ask some people, and they might tell you, oh, it's following the divine path of Lord. And some would say, oh, this is just a meaningless speck of dust floating in the ocean of vast, infinite universe. You know, so we are nothing. We came from nothing. So, you know, when there are these different contradicting ideologies, I don't think we will ever have peace. We will never have an understanding and living together as one, because when we try to find differences among each other, all we do is find differences. Then I don't think we can find a meeting point to coexist among each other. There's a lot been happening. I'll take this opportunity until my friend Ali John comes on, and hopefully he does, because I'm pretty sure he has a lot to share. I mean, you travel 76 countries in the world, mostly poor, war-ravaged, religiously, culturally divided, imperialistic carnage. So he has traveled most of those nations, and I'm very well confident that he has learned a lot, and he has been enlightened by this whole journey that he has, and I would love to have him here and share his experiences and wisdom. But till then, I think there was some issues, not issues I should say, there has been a lot of Salam Alaikum. Marujan Aziz, my missus, she's online and she wants to come live. I'm running a podcast, for God's sake, come. But yeah, there has been a lot of pulling and pushing back home in Afghanistan about, and some people have actually reached out to me trying to discuss about the economic situation, and if oh, that was my daughter Alma, of course it's her, she wants to go live soon, my love, we'll be soon leading this whole thing. I'll get old someday, and then you guys have to take over anyways, but thank you for the initiative, Almajan. So what is this whole economic and financial paradox at the moment? We are trying to say that let's all right, we don't want to give the funds to the present regime and the government, but we want to help the people out. I'm not sure if we are thinking critically about this, you know. I mean, I can understand what we have spoken about this a lot in depth, a lot. But if we still don't understand and accept the fact that a country cannot be self-sustained if the government itself isn't running on its own feet, then the people sooner or later will die of starvation and the cold. Out of billions of dollars, they have only assigned $280 million, and that's for those core institutions that it's been run by the people who have created this whole shit show anyways. You know, I mean, how long can they keep this up? How long could people do charities? I mean, we do realize that we're talking about a whole country, right? A whole nation. It cannot be run on charity forever. It cannot be run by UN and WFP or Bayat or whatever forever. I mean, you have to understand, government is new, man. You're happy or no? You know, and I don't think, let's just be honest, I don't think, especially us who are outside, I don't think anyone has lost more than I have as an artist, as a creative person, as a free thinker, as a rebel. You know, I have lost a lot. So you have to realize that where is it that I come from, and I want to say that if you don't support the government today, the country will die sooner or later. That's just common sense. You cannot feed the people by UN. You cannot feed the people just freaking some freaking worthless wheat and some oil and sugar. Is that all what we need? Is that all what we need for living? A country has to run. It has to run from each end of the spectrum, from the private sector to government sector, the army, the police, the education sector, the industries, how are you going to make it self-sustained? How are you going to make it work? How is it going to actually start moving forward on its own? It cannot be done by just feeding them with wheat. Are we trying to say that we're going to just hold their wounded arm of the government until they agree to something that they will never do? They fought for 25 years just to do what? Just to be pushed to a corner and say, okay, we agree for whatever you want to say, and we will share the government with the people whom we fought for 25 years to take it from them? This is nonsensical. As soon as you agree that our decisions and our awareness and what we say on in this pesky social media today, that affects millions of people's lives. We could go a whole day and discuss about, no, the people should be fed by charities and the government should be just put into tariffs and these frozen funds, and we will keep them in a corner. No, you can't. We cannot decide people's fate. We don't have that right. I mean, if tomorrow people ask any of our skilled young Afghans to go and they need engineers and technical skilled people, Afghan, to work in Afghanistan, how many of us will go? I mean, we've got doctors, engineers, scientists, economists, and all that. How many of you will go? Not a lot of you, but you will expect Turkey and China to go and work on your mines, and you want Qatar and Turkey to go and work on your airport, while we have skilled individuals all over the world, and we would not go. Why? Because we hate the government. What about the people? The government, this regime will run on itself. It doesn't care about what I say, what you say, what charities we do, what funds come in. Do you actually think that they do? No, they don't care about that. They've got their own ways. They have their own ways. They will sustain the power. They don't care. Yeah, but the people will die, and we can't blame them because we can't make the country run. We're just giving them all this wheat and flour and fucking, not even a flour, I doubt that, but just freaking oil and sugar and just some first aid, which is called the health services or whatever. Health services, yeah, right. $280 million from billions of your own. And that half of that goes into that whole UN's pocket anyways. Because you know what? They prefer to drive 2020, 2021 model Land Cruisers. They don't drive Corollas. Why do you think they need that luxury? I mean, don't give the government the money. It doesn't matter, because the government will go on. They have been going on for decades. It doesn't matter if we give them anything or not. It's not even in our hand. Why are we even discussing this? They bring in Malala to freaking White House instead of all our qualified own sisters and mothers. So you think our word even counts? They don't give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about what we say. At least we should talk among each other honestly. طالبی رقم است و رقم است. کدامش خوب بوده؟ راستیش کدامش خوب بوده؟ Which one of them were actually right? Which one of them didn't kill people? Didn't use the power? They all did. They all will do. So most of us just have heard about who the Talib is and word from Wikipedia and CNN and Fox News. People like us have seen that, have lived through that age. So if I say something, and if I come here and I want to talk about the country and the people and how it can be helped, and we shouldn't be that biased about it, is because I've seen it. I haven't heard about it. Either you're against the religion or a conservative extreme, I can understand, okay, just say it openly. I know some do, some have the courage to say that. The others are using nonsensical reasons here. Nonsensical. A cat was shot. For fuck's sake. Really? A cat was shot? We used to joke about this. We used to joke about this probably 15 years ago. That a pressure cooker was exploded in a kitchen, and then the Talibs said that, oh, the meat in that pressure cooker was ours. So that exploded. Ridiculous. These are just stupid, ridiculous shit. A cat was shot, for fuck's sake. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I feel bad for that guy who lost a cat, but for fuck's sake, I mean, you're talking about the countries who are holding your people's food in their hand for their own political agendas. People who actually, it was on the news that, oh, what about the dogs? Really? What about the dogs left behind? What about the family, the 15 people you bombed? That was a sad mistake, but the dogs, that had to be brought out. I mean, how could your blood doesn't boil here? How could you still stand with what these people, these big governments, decide for our people, who care more about the dog than the starving people? And I'm telling you again, and I want to be very clear about this, there are many ways to actually look, control, audit the flow of the money for the government. But if you think that this ridiculous, stupid, bullcrap excuse of, if the frozen funds go to the government, it'll be used for terrorism, where were these funds for them in the past 25 years, for fuck's sake? 25 nations couldn't hold them back when they had no funds, and now they will use that for terrorism. Just sit with yourself and think about this. How are you going to keep your country going and your history and your heritage alive with freaking charity? And it pisses me off when people actually go about and publicize foundations like Bayat. I know who they are. I know what they have done in 20 years, for fuck's sake. I mean, those who have lived in Afghanistan know that. So those who have lived and still are trying to market and sell these people's empty ideas of helping, well, then you're sold, my friend. You're sold. I don't blame the diaspora who have never been to Afghanistan. I don't blame them. But those who have been there and they still support these ridiculous initiatives, these businessmen charity organizations, businessmen charity, never works. Nah. It'll never do. So yeah, coming to the question of charities and funds and how to keep the government away, well, my friends, if you keep the government away, sooner or later it will fall. the whole country will fall. It's not about the government. You cannot kill an ideology. Trust me. Nah, that's impossible. We've seen this. History is the proof. You cannot kill ideology. So it could be again one of those man-eating, cannibalistic civil war. Why not? It will create another excuse in the ground for the opium production, probably tenfold. There'll be smuggling. There'll be all a lot of shit. But if you want to keep away the government from their own money, from the people's money, then don't blame them for if anything happens, man. You can't. Do the charities. How long would you keep that up? How long? How long would we be able to keep that up? I come from a country, a time where I lived on the street which led to a hill, and at the start of the street it was our house, and all these other houses, there were houses which had, each person of the family had 2 cars at least, and there were 3-story, 4-story building houses, and then you would have our neighbors who lived up the hill, and they were literally beggars. So do you see the contrast? Now, if these people from the street would have seen that beggar on somewhere in the marketplace, they might have given him some money, but once he would walk into his street to go to his house, no one would follow him to his house and see how is he living. Does he have food? Why can't we go to his house and help him there? And nobody would do that. And this is Chishandidimas. I have lived this. I'm not making this shit up. And people who have lived in Afghanistan, they know this. The beggar and the millionaire lived on the same street. How does that even make sense? Today they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing. It's the same shit all over again. So if you want to support holding the funds, do it. Do it. But you have to sit with yourself and you have to think about this. How long can you keep up these pesky charities? How long can you keep it up? United Nations, tell me one country in the world which United Nations got involved in, and that country lives a prosperous life today. I guarantee you will not find one. You will not find one. Make your own country sustainable. Make it work on its own. Ideologies can change in time. And I've said this before, I say it again. Human mind, human heart is a very complex thing. But at the same time, it's very simple. If they haven't seen anything, they're not aware of it. When they see the world and you show them the care and you show them the culture, it will change in time. But let's make sure that the country name of Afghanistan still remains. There are people who still want it to be divided. We're supporting them, and a lot of good people I know, very smart people I know, they're supporting that act. Federal. Not go and fuck yourself. Afghanistan yaki buda yaki mein bashi. You don't like it, go fuck yourself, man. Federal. You don't even fucking know what that means. How does that work? You don't know that. Let's talk about these targeted killings then, because I don't think my friend would be here anytime soon. So, well, I'm here anyways. Targeted killings. can never be justified. That's the truth. It's not Islami, it's not religious, it's not cultural, it's not humanity. We all agree on that. But at the same time, we have to understand, as much as we look things from different angles, as much as we understand it better. I come from a very long line of military ancestry. So I would never, ever support a regime or a party or a group of people who are targeting these nationalistic, self-sacrificing breed, which is the soldiers. I've been on the front lines. My father has been, my uncles has been, my cousin's been. We've all had a share of that. Targeted killings. You have to understand one thing. Afghanistan is a tribal country. And that's a very important point. How many of the Afghan National Army soldiers joined the army because they had some enmity, they had rivalry with their local tribes? Only because they were in the army that gave them the protection and the right to have arms officially. How many people have actually used that power, especially the National Defense Security people, which I have a very close experience of. I know people who work with them, heaps of them. I've had dealings with them. I was a metalhead, I was called a Satanist, of course, they were on to us. How many of these people do you think have committed atrocities? Now when the people come in power, those poor, perhaps illiterate, perhaps from a far village, they came into power, they joined the new regime, and now they have the arms. In Afghanistan, it's tribal. They want to take revenge. They will do it by hook or by crook. One guy I worked with, this is my own experience. One guy was a former president's bodyguard. He was driving past, he saw this beautiful girl. He went to her house and he said, I want to marry your girl because I'm the bodyguard of the president. They couldn't say no. Now, this is a very small example. How many of these people might have done that? No, I shouldn't say might have. They have done that, of course. Hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands have done that. Use their power, use their influence, use their money, use their arms to do all this. And now when the tables have turned, they're crying about it. Because I tell you what, if the present regime, I'm not speaking for or against anyone here, but if they wanted to kill the people who worked for the government, it should have been a carnage by now. There should have been so many killings. It's flooded by blood. Why is it targeted? How much of it we know that it was personal rivalries and enmities and revenges? We know about the person who died, but we don't know what that person had done in the past to somebody else. It's not a legit government. You have to know that you cannot audit people. So if it's not a legit government, the government head announces saying that you cannot do all these killings and targeted killings, and this has to be done proper, official, through the judicial system, but some people are doing it because there's no control. You haven't allowed them for that control because they're illegitimate. Thank you very much. Forget about who these people are for once and look at your country and look at it as a new government. Forget about that for once. Think about your own people. Think about your roots. How much of all these propaganda connects to your roots and how we are as people? Still pisses me off. A cat got shot, yeah? And that's on Twitter. Oh, they shot my cat. Fuck's sake, man. Really? They shot your cat and starved the people for that? Bravo, bravo. Everything can be controlled, everything can be looked at, everything can be under a system if you want to allow that system. If there is no system, how can you expect it to run? How can you control it then? Give the people charity? How much? For how long? We don't know. Charity and charity and charity. Well, my friends, I think my friend hasn't arrived today. So perhaps if he comes later on, I will let you guys know. It was good to see you guys. Thank you very, very much. My friends here who actually showed up. Salam to all of you. Greetings. Hope you have a wonderful evening or day. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully with my friend or with our other guests. Hope I've said some sensible words. That's my own belief. That's my own idea. I'm drawn with emotions as well, like all of us. But I try to detach and try to look from outside and see what's better for our own poor people. Because regardless, let's be honest, nothing of that will affect us, but we will lose our nation, our history, when worst comes to worst. So that will affect all of us. The starvation, the malnourished children, which is all over the internet, we should be ashamed for that. We all should be ashamed for that, to actually spread those pictures and images. Because we can help them. We can make a system, we can make a government, we can control everything. We can all do that. But if we decide not to do that, if we decide to go with the narrative of the superpowers, which never cared and will never do for us, then you are to be blamed, I am to be blamed, we're all to be blamed. So sit down with yourself, reflect what you're saying, what you're doing, how much of this propaganda we are spreading and supporting will affect our own people, the poor people. Again, Afghanistan is a tribal land. Targeted killings doesn't have to be sanctioned by the government. A person can take an arm, go kill his enemy, which he had a grudge for ages. Again, charities will not feed the people throughout the ages. They will not feed them forever. And the feeding they are doing, it's taking nothing. It's feeding nobody. So remember that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm honored. Hope you have a great day. God bless you all. God bless you all. Khodam rai hamagi mein boshe. God bless the people, the poor people of Afghanistan. Love you all. Reflect and think rationally and critically. Voices from the mountains. Lamar Mangal. Thank you very much.